Municipal land.
Yes.
Land owned by the municipality.
Yes.
It was sold to a company, R3m Poultry,
Yes.
to the value of about 3 million.
Yeah.
And this transfer, it took a while, but it then happened, and then it was concluded. We, as a trust, bought property.
Okay.
And the conveyancing attorneys
Yeah.
is the same firm of attorneys.
Or that was used
On a
by the
personal
municipality.
account.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know how they concluded to say that the funds used are the funds of the municipality.
The impression created is that the money from the attorneys then got transferred to the property that you bought directly from the attorneys.
This is exactly what they said.
Okay.
Yes. That proceeds of the municipality is the one that bought me property. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, our visitor today is the municipal manager of Matlosana, City of Matlosana in the Northwest Province, Miss Lesego Seametso, is with us today. We're going to talk a bit about, she has been arrested by the Hawks. She has attended a court trial or a pre-trial, sort of. She will explain. She was cleared, but the last we heard was when she was arrested and appearing in court, but we never heard what happened afterwards. The matter has been left hanging, at least in the public eye. It has not been reported to the conclusion. But we decided to invite her just to find out what happened, because she's back at work. She was suspended. She was reinstated. And yeah, welcome, Lesego.
Thank you very much. And thank you for also having me today.
Yeah.
It's Lesego Seametso.
Okay, thanks.
So I can imagine it's going to be a bit difficult for you to pronounce it correctly.
Yeah,
It's a Tswana surname.
I'm not going to say it again. You've done a favor.
No, it's fine. Yes.
But anyway, before we get to the gist of the matter, or of the matters, just a brief background about yourself. It's very important to know your qualifications, maybe your previous employment, or just a brief resume of yourself, so that we start on the right footing. You know, municipalities are in trouble all over the country. It's either they are hiring people who are not qualified, there's corruption, which is a matter that we're going to talk about today, and all of that. So just to kick off.
Okay. I'm Lesego Seametso. I'm actually born and raised in Klerksdorp, in Joburton, in the same municipal area, City of Matlosana. Okay. And I went to school there. Subsequent to that, I went to do my varsity, go Northwest University, the Mafeking campus. I'm a law graduate. Okay. And I also proceeded with my articles. Okay. And I started with the Northwest University in Potchefstroom campus, where I was also doing my PLT, practical legal training. Okay. And then I proceeded to get my admission and then worked at the Northwest University in Mafeking campus. And then I became part of the aspirant prosecution training. I trained with the NPA as an aspirant prosecutor, and I worked at the Mabatu Magistrate Court, Molopo Magistrate Court, and where I started my prosecution, finished the program, and was conferred to be a prosecutor. I prosecuted in Mabatu Molopo Magistrate Court, moved to Taung Magistrate Court, where I worked in Taung as a prosecutor. Okay. Yes, and then I moved from prosecution. I went and joined the Northern Cape Gambling Board. Okay. This was stationed in Kimberley. Our main office was in Kimberley, but we're responsible for being the regulator, gambling regulator in the whole of Northern Cape.
What was the position there?
I came there as a legal advisor,
Okay.
manager legal services for the Northern Cape Gambling Board. And a few months into the post, I was the then acting CEO. I stayed with the board for about 2 years, and that's when I then applied to the City of Matlosana for a position of Director Corporate.
Okay.
I then got the position of Director Corporate Support. This was in 2018. That's how I saw myself back home.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I worked as a Director Corporate Support from 2018. And in between me being a Director Corporate Support, I was also an acting municipal manager in the absence of the municipal manager.
Okay.
In 2022, the municipal manager, the then substitute municipal manager's term came to an end. I then was appointed by council to act as a municipal manager until the appointment of a municipal manager.
Okay.
And that's where all my trouble started.
Oh, yeah. You've been?
Yes, and I acted in the position from May 2022 until October 2022. Yes,
Okay.
for 6 months.
Okay. And then when were you appointed?
And then I was appointed from the 1st of Jan 2023
Okay.
as a municipal manager to date.
Oh, okay. No,
Yes.
that's great. It's just a question that comes to mind. You've been a prosecutor for a long, long, long time. How does it feel being in the dock and somebody prosecuting you? How does it feel, the change of roles?
Embarrassment is not even a word to describe it. My first court appearance actually was... Yes, it was my
As a suspect.
first... Yes, as a suspect. And ever. And I've never in my life envisioned that it would happen to me. But my first court appearance, it was so embarrassing because...
Can you imagine?
The people from the NPA were people that I know from the...
Former colleagues.
Yes, although not directly, but they were
Yeah.
people that I know, including the people from Justice.
Wow.
Some of them are people I've been studied with. And so it was the worst experience one could ever go
I can
through.
imagine. But
Yes.
yeah, we'll go to that. Okay, you get appointed to become a municipal manager. Then, just before 3 June 2024, you remember 3 June 2024? What
could I
happened?
forget?
You were arrested by the Hawks. But before your arrest, were there any developments before that particular day?
Yes.
What did you see? What did you notice? What happened?
In fact, this thing came, the build-up to the arrest. I'll call it a build-up.
Yeah.
Because it happened in exactly a sequence that built up to the actual arrest. It first started, I've once had visitors in my office.
Okay.
Yes, I've once had visitors, 2 gentlemen saying that they are from intelligence.
Okay.
Refused to give me their appointment cards and just went up to saying that I am but they will use me. I'll go say those things in court. It's intimidating type of things. But I then got a hold of the name, and those people are not in the service of... They had a docket with them.
Wow.
Look, I've prosecuted. I know what a new docket looks like, and a very old docket. It looked more like an inquest docket. An old docket.
Okay.
Then I asked that guy, can I have the cast number? Because you're investigating.
Yeah.
They came there under the auspice that, no, there are things happening in Matlosana, because we're already in the news anyway.
Okay, for other things.
For other things. A colleague of mine who had also had her stint with the law. So they were all over media.
Yes.
So they came under that, and then the then executive mayor, they've got things they want to discuss with him and me, and they want us to assist them with information. So I'm like, no, it's all good and well. I know the process, how it should go. And then this guy, on the documents that he had, he just took out a piece of paper, which happened to be my deed search of the property that we have as a family trust.
Yeah.
And that's when it started. And this was in Feb last year.
Okay.
And I then took down their details. Well, didn't get me the force number, anything, just gave me his names. But I also took a picture.
Oh, you also took
Yeah, I took their picture.
Like they saw that you were taking
No,
a
they
picture,
didn't
or-
see I
or-
took their picture. I wanted to see who they are.
Yeah.
But he saw me because he said to me, don't take my pictures. I'm like, but why not?
Yeah.
You're in your line of duty.
Exactly.
But those people are not with law enforcement. Well, they can actually come argue tomorrow and say they are. It's okay. But what my own research revealed that they were not with law enforcement.
Yeah.
And in March 2024, last year, 1st of March on my birthday,
Yeah.
there was this viral write-up.
Okay.
This write-up was all over WhatsApp groups where they were terming me Tintswalo. They termed me Tintswalo, child of the ANC, the child of...
After the president's speech.
Yes, after the President Tintswalo speech, yes,
yeah.
because they also then said, that's when now it started. They said that I must be questioned and the law enforcement, the hawks in the Northwest must take me up for questioning. This was a write-up.
Yeah.
I'll share that write-up with you. To saying that I must be questioned. I brought property with the municipal proceeds of a municipal sale of land.
Yeah.
The 1st of March, that's when it started. But there was no source, which is something that happens a lot where I come from.
Okay.
There'll be write-ups, 3 pages, 4 pages.
And they distribute them.
They distribute it everywhere. And the person would say either today he's Buchanan and another day it's some historical hero somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes, but there was a time where they were very consistent. When I said that's where my problem started. When I became a municipal manager, they consistently wrote those things. Some of them very degrading.
You actually didn't have a chance to settle it down, focus and do your job. Immediately you got the job, then these things start.
In fact, when I got my appointment letter,
Yeah.
it was on the 31st of December,
Yes.
I was served with court documents for an urgent application. And I was not in the country, so I got a WhatsApp
So what was that about?
about that there was a candidate, one of the candidates,
Oh.
who I was contesting the position with.
Okay.
Yes, said that he should have been the one who's appointed. And this was I was supposed to start on the 1st, effectively from the 1st of Jan.
Yeah.
But when I came back on the 5th, I was in court of January.
Yeah.
Yes, I was in court on the 5th of January to set aside my appointment.
Wow.
And obviously, it was not successful. And it was struck off the roll.
Okay.
Again, on the 31st of January, I was served again, setting aside my appointment.
Wow.
I was in court on the 9th or 7th of Feb because it was an urgent application.
But the first one was about, the candidate is complaining that
That he should have
he or
been,
she- is it she?
he.
or he should
Yes.
have got the job.
Yes.
Then the second one?
It was the same candidate
Okay.
and another one as well, who was also one of the candidates who apply for the position, and an interested party.
Okay.
Yes, but that too, we went to court on that as well, and it was struck off. But the first one, I then proceeded to enroll it on the normal roll,
Okay.
but it was still in my favor.
Okay.
The second one is just the one that we have not proceeded with it, but any other day could be placed on the normal roll. Yes.
Why this resistance? What do you think? Is it an issue? Okay, obviously, if you are a woman, top position, maybe it could. We're still grappling with that issue. I don't know.
One of the
I'm
other
just
things
asking,
that
yeah.
was always said amongst people where I come from and discussed in the sittings, I guess, would be my age,
Okay.
and that I'm young, and 5 years in my inexperience, and the municipality is big. I'm still young, and
I mean, young. What does it mean? How young? They mean, were you a teenager? No, not. You
I
had
couldn't
gone
have
through-
been. If I'm 38 now,
You have mentioned,
yeah, I was 35.
your previous experience.
Yes.
You've been out there.
Yes. So that was it. But they also preference. People have their own preferences, irrespective of whether it is correct, irrespective of whether it meets the prerequisite, but preference. Then we moved from that. But my appointment has always been merged with something, one or the other. I've never would have said that, this has been a one good year.
Yeah.
No, in my position as an MM, no.
It's very cold at the top, as they
It
say.
is. It is, but it should be called because of the workload or the challenges. It's not even about that. I think it's just a people issue, and you deal with more with character than your actual work.
But is it politics? Would you say it's politics? Because really, one politician once told me, I was asking this question: why too much noise in municipalities compared to provinces? And she told me that she's a prima. She told me that, look, a department like a Department of Education, the politician is only one, is the MEC. The rest are officials. So there won't be, yes, they may be activists in their own right, but they are not in the institution.
Yes.
Unlike the municipality, the councillors are there. All of them are there. 50
And I've got
of
77 of them.
77, the opposition, the ruling party itself, factions within the ruling party itself. So yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's.
You may not want to say it, but it's the way I look at it.
Yeah, one would say that, and it's not even. It's like local politics. It's more local politics.
Yeah,
it's more, as I said, people have their own preferences, their own
Of course.
agendas, their own feels about certain things, and personalities as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, where was I? Yes, and then after my birthday, after that write-up came in April.
Yeah.
A month after that, a colleague said to me that there was hawks. They came into her office.
Wow.
These guys came, but she managed to steal contents because she saw my name on it.
Okay.
Funny, I still have it in the boot of my car because she was telling me while I was standing next to my car, and then said, no, these are the things I was talking about. So I was like, yeah, but when I opened it, it's my deed search. So I'm like, yeah, but then this is not a secret because it's at the master.
Yeah.
And I just threw it in because there was nothing extraordinary. That same day, I got questions from the City Press, from a journalist,
Okay.
Mr. Mashego,
Okay.
with regards to the same Dintsolo write-up,
Okay.
the same content that I just received on the day,
Okay.
and the same allegations that I used proceeds of the municipality through a firm of attorneys to buy property, and also used proceeds that were kickbacks. That's how they put it.
Oh, okay. So, but obviously the allegations emanate from a real case. I think the municipality did buy some land, R3m Fontaine, a portion of that farm. The municipality paid for it, some money or whatever. What was the case? Yeah.
No.
So that
there was
we
a sale of
understand.
land.
Yeah.
Municipal land.
Yes.
Land owned by the municipality.
Yes.
It was sold to a company, Supreme Poultry,
Yes.
to the value about 3 million.
Yeah.
And this transfer, it took a while, but it then happened, and then it was concluded.
Yeah.
Attorneys on behalf of the municipality was overseeing the transfer of the property.
Yes.
Once the transfers were done, The attorneys then wrote to the municipality saying, this is the money that was that you guys have.
Yes.
The proceeds of your sale of your land
Yeah.
in trust, and this is our account.
Yeah.
Municipality, let's talk. Should we set off? And I, in my capacity as municipal manager, was like, I'm not an accounting person, but it's logic. Pay us and then we'll pay you. So I said they must transfer it and must sit down with our finance team to go and do a recon of their account. And that's how from then on, that's how the money will be transferred to the municipal. You transfer our money first and then we will pay you.
Yeah.
And there was that reconciliation meeting that was held. I was not part of it.
Yeah.
And there was correspondence back and forth. So yes, the municipality sold land.
Yeah.
To the value of 3 million.
Yes.
And used the firm of attorneys that are contracted to the municipality to oversee the sale of the land.
Okay, that is clear.
Yes, that is clear.
Yeah.
And those proceeds were held in trust of the attorneys.
Yes.
In fact, they still are.
They still are?
Yes, with interest.
Yeah, because I just wanted to, we don't move ahead, listeners and viewers understand the matter. So that's why I asked you to bring this up first. Then we can go back to, as you were explaining about the deed. Yeah.
And then that money, as I said, is still in trust. It's still there with interest.
But the sale happened when? 2021?
2022.
Yeah.
I think it was concluded 2023, I think.
Yeah.
Or 2022 December.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So how do you link? How now do you link yourself to this whole thing?
I bought, we as a trust bought property.
Okay.
And the conveyancing attorneys is the same firm of attorneys.
Oh, that was used
on
by
a personal
the
account.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know how they concluded to say that the funds used are the funds of the municipality.
Oh, is it? So the property that your family trust bought is the same amount as the funds that were in the trust?
More or less.
More or less.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
More or less the same amount.
Okay.
Well, from a layman, it could make sense.
Yeah.
But when you have details, it beats the odds why they could make sense.
Yeah, but it's a coincidence. Same law firm used by the municipality. It's the same that you are using. The amount is almost the same of the property, of your property, 3.1 or 3.2 whatsoever. So, yeah.
It is, but what a coincidence, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing, how I was also linked was that the previous owner of the property used to be part of the law firm.
Okay.
But as at that time was no longer with the firm, no contracted to the municipality. Yes.
Okay. So obviously you get questions from the media.
I got questions from the media. Well, before I could respond to this, the story was already ran. But the firm of attorneys also responded. But I also responded.
Okay.
I also furnished a response.
Before publication or after?
Before publication.
Okay.
I also furnished a response, and in my capacity as the accounting officer.
Okay.
Because they asked me in that capacity.
Oh, yeah.
And the firm of attorneys also issued a statement and provided a response.
Okay.
But the story ran. Yeah, it went through, although provided with facts, but they still chose to run with the story. And this was in April.
Yeah.
Yes. May I had an operation. I had a medical procedure done, so I was on sick leave.
Okay.
3rd of June. No, the end of June. The 30th of June. I think it was a Friday.
Yeah.
The investigating gentleman from the Hawks contacted my sister.
Okay.
Contacted my sister, looking for my sister, and went to my sister. My sister is also a trustee in the trust.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Indicated that he's here to investigate activities of the trust and therefore wants to see my sister. My sister must come to the station.
Okay. So now it's no longer the same gentleman who came
No,
to
there
the
was
office.
no. This one is no longer. In fact, before this one even came,
Yeah.
he had written a letter in April before I went on leave.
Okay.
They came to the office and requested information.
Yeah.
They had a letter and an inquiry.
Okay.
A request with an inquiry and listed.
Yeah.
They wanted tender documents saying they're investigating a murder, attempted murder, a fraud case in Matlosana.
Okay.
And they listed tender documents that they needed. We then packaged them and we were supposed to have fetched them. That's the first time I saw this gentleman.
Okay.
Now in May, end of May, I've never heard, he never came to collect and never did anything.
Yeah.
But he is from SAPS. Well, the Hawks.
Yeah.
And then in May, the 30th of May, my sister gets contacted. My sister then goes to we said, I'll come to the police station.
Yeah.
Went with our attorney. And this guy then says, no, he's charging her.
Okay.
Fraud, money laundering, corruption, theft. Okay, what for? No. It is with regards to the money you used of the municipality to buy property. Okay. Then this gentleman then said, no, I'm looking for your other client, which is me. But this is the one who's from hospital.
Yeah.
And said, no, I must come on Monday.
Okay.
But then he then changed it Sunday morning. Sunday morning, my attorney went to go hand me over. Then he said, no, it's fine. He came and then he said, no, it's fine. We'll come on Monday so that he can charge us.
Yeah.
Monday, we went the 3rd of June.
Yeah.
Was when we went with my husband and my sister to go hand us over, obviously. And then they charged us with money laundering, fraud, corruption, theft.
So
evasive with the information.
Just before you continue, the impression created is that the money from the attorneys then got transferred to the property that you bought directly from the attorneys.
This is exactly what they said.
Okay.
Yes. That proceeds of the municipality is the one that bought me property. Yes.
Okay.
The 3rd of June, we then appeared in court.
Yeah.
Were charged, arrested, detained, rather, and then appeared in court. But before we could appear in court, we then requested information. Yeah. Because this person is very evasive with information.
As to exactly what you were charged for.
What are the allegations?
Yeah.
And the state prosecutor was there, was a state advocate, and we requested to know what is it about. Yeah. So that's when they actually read the docket. And indicated, and then I provided them with the last correspondence from the attorneys, which illustrate that subsequent to our meetings held, subsequent to our letter dated this and this, here is your money, it's still in trust, these are the interest, how are we going to conclude this?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the last correspondence was the 4th of April.
Okay.
With the municipality. But we then were released on bail on charges before court, while the prosecution then kept a theft charge.
Okay.
Theft of 3 million. We were released out on bail. I was on bail of 20,000. My sister was on 10,000.
Okay. But up to that time, do you know who is the complainant?
As at that time, I didn't know.
Okay.
And I only learned it when we went to appear the second time because it was there in the docket.
Okay.
Yes. I know who the complainant is, yes. But also I know because we also were furnished at a later stage with contents of the docket.
Okay.
And I know the complainant, I know the witnesses in the docket, and they also have the statements or the transactions with regards to the funds as well.
So who are they? Are they municipal employees,
A municipal
councillors?
councillor was
Yeah.
the complainant.
Okay.
Yes.
The witnesses?
Witnesses were officials. One was a finance official who was also part of the recon that was done and
strange.
acquainted with facts.
Wow.
And the other witness obviously was just to ascertain, which is also a municipal employee.
Okay.
But what was also baffling about it is that they always had saying that the reason why they don't open the case in the Northwest, because my case was open in Pretoria.
Oh, in Pretoria? Outside
yes,
the
outside of
province.
our jurisdiction. In Pretoria, because the Northwest Police, I don't know if they don't believe in their capacity or they believe that they will not be partial when it comes to me, impartial when it comes to me. I don't know. But they just said one of the statements or one of the sentences in their statement was that they did not go because they believe that I may be friends with the police.
Okay.
That's how they put it. But my case was investigated from Pretoria, from organized crime. And I was in court from June until Jan.
You attending?
I was attending court. In October, the matter was postponed finally for investigations. This was in July, finally for investigations.
Wait, so you get arrested, you get charged, but the investigation is not done yet. So they are not ready for trial. Then the case gets postponed for investigation or for further investigation.
Yes.
Okay.
When we appeared on the 3rd of June, they postponed it for investigations.
Yes.
Yes. And then it was postponed for July. July we came there, then they postponed it finally for investigations. And when we came back in August, it was postponed again for investigations.
So you've been a prosecutor, really. What does this mean? Is this the procedure that you get arrested first and then the investigation start, or the investigation needs to start, the docket gets completed, or has enough details to pursue a case? I don't know.
Look, the allegations that were leveled against me are allegations of a serious nature. Yeah. And also the position that I also hold. One would, in the prosecution, they're usually called prosecutor-led investigations. Yeah. Where you investigate and then you would say go and effect an arrest. Okay. But I always illustrate to people, I was arrested like a person who shoplifted. You get arrested, you're caught in the act, and then you go to court, and then we'll go find evidence therein after. So August again, it was then postponed for contents of the docket. Yeah, we went for contents of the docket. Then we were told that it's not ready. Okay. October, they provided us with contents of the docket, and then then went in December. And then they requested that the matter be postponed until Jan in order to ascertain, after they provided us with contents, now we should be trial ready. Okay. And then they're saying, no, they still need to get information. Wow. Yes. So in December, when we got there, they then postponed for finally to go and interpret the information that they've received from the bank. Okay. Jan, when you got there, they withdrew the matter investigations. Yes.
So what was the reason for the withdrawal?
They just withdrew the matter.
Themselves? The NPA.
Prosecution, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's just that matter was withdrawn, yes.
So go home, it's fine.
Yes,
sorry.
Got my bail money and my passports. I got my passports in December already because I bail conditions. I handed over my passports. I had to sign at the police station every Mondays.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, that was that. Then.
Well, that was that. We've not heard anything. Like no, we've not heard anything to date. We've not heard anything to date.
So now with your employer, what had been happening already, you're facing these charges. It's all over. Everybody knows. It's all over the news nationally. Internally, were there any processes, disciplinary processes that were instituted against you?
Yes. After the arrest in June, I then got a letter from the then executive mayor after council was convened. And council resolved that the executive mayor must write to me to provide reasons why I should not be placed on precautionary suspension.
Yes.
But remember, I had said I was still on sick leave. I was only to resume work on the 1st of July. I then responded to the then executive mayor to indicate that I acknowledge I'm currently on sick leave. However, in the interim, I request, because the letter did not contain an allegation. It just said that we heard that you were in court, but it did not have an allegation to it.
Okay.
And July, I went back to work. After I did write about twice, I wrote a letter to saying that you've not responded. I went back to work. I was called in by the Speaker of Council to say that they never received my response. Because in between, when the then executive mayor wrote to me on the 18th of June until the 1st of July, the executive mayor resigned. There was no executive mayor. So when I came back in July, there was no executive mayor. So the speaker then called me and said they never received my response. So then I'd still forwarded those responses that I had provided to the office of the executive mayor.
He left and institutional memory was lost there.
I guess so. And on the 4th of July, council convened and held a special council meeting to place me on what they're saying is special leave. Yes. They placed me on special leave until a mayor is elected, and we'll see the process through. This was on the 4th of July. They then wrote a letter to me the 10th of July. I then went home. A new mayor was elected, got into office, and I was still at home. But then I wrote a letter to the executive mayor. Cautioning them of the legality of the said special leave, the process that has been followed, made reference to the 2 correspondences I had written to them, and that indicating that I'll be back at work the next week, which the next week, a week after that, I think my letter was, the 20th, the 23rd, I went back to work. Got to work, the executive mayor saw that, because I had to say I'm back at work. It's a new executive mayor now. And there were a series of meetings that were held. And I was then written a letter. Not council meetings, but NGO meetings. Yes.
So there's now community members outside.
No, NGO.
What do you mean?
The other NGO that that were held, and then I got another letter. I got a letter from the executive mayor to say that I must still remain at home and stay home until council then calls me back. This was in July. So I went back home and I stayed at home. I stayed at home July, August, September, October. They had a council meeting. In the council meeting, they then resolved in council that, in fact, in law, there is no such thing as special leave. So we as a municipality erred, but should actually place her on precautionary suspension. Yes. And I got that letter to be placed on precautionary suspension. And they then appointed an investigator to investigate the allegations against me, to have used the proceeds of the municipality to buy myself property.
But basically the same allegations as
the criminal, yes. And it was investigated. A report was tabled in council on the 6th of December.
Okay.
which report cleared me to saying, yeah, you cancel, here's your money. And your money was never used to purchase property or anything else for the municipal manager.
The report was released before the criminal charges were withdrawn.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I got a letter on the 10th of December that I need to go back to work.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't just to read a little bit, nothing was ever reported. There was no follow-up actually when you were cleared internally by the municipality. I don't think there was a press release or anything that was released as well. Yeah. Rangwako attorneys, they said they find no factual or legal basis, and therefore all the allegations against you are unfounded. They said, the report, that's what I read, from the records available, the funds have never been withdrawn, transferred, or otherwise used since being paid into the trust account of Oosthuizen Deploy Attorneys on the 28th of March 2022. It follows that since the funds were not used to purchase a property for the municipal manager as initially averred, no further inquiry is necessary. I was just quoting from the report.
Yes.
So all along, it's people from the municipality internally who've got the complainants and witnesses who've got access to the records, the documents and everything, but they still went ahead to lay criminal charges against you.
Yes, but also internally, because after the 3rd of June, after my arrest, there was a statement, a letter, rather, that was sent to the municipality with the statement of account of the proceeds of this land, the money that I said to have stolen from that firm of attorneys. They even went as far as issuing out a statement, a public statement on the facts and the distortion of facts. But council went to a council meeting with that information. It was shared with the mayor, the speaker, the singer whip, the then acting municipal manager, the CFO, the legal service department. Yes, but they still went to council and placed me on, write a letter why I should not be suspended. With all that information still at their disposal, they still chose to place me on special leave, which has no expression anyway where senior manager is concerned in terms of the regulations. And then a few months later, with the same information still at their disposal, let's now change and place her on precautionary suspension because we urge there's no such thing as special leave. With the same information that they still have, that was written to the municipality, made available, I even wrote to them and detailed the allegations against me, taking cue from the criminal case, and detailed them. But still, they still proceeded to do that.
Wow. But obviously, I'm asking the right question at the municipal manager. There is a legal unit, a legal advisor, or somebody employed there who could have advised the council properly.
Yes.
I assume you also have private attorneys on a panel or something whatsoever.
Correct. I was even about to say that we've got a legal service unit in the municipality, but over and above that, they are firms of attorneys that are on the panel of the municipality.
So, in your opinion, why would they let this matter go so far without giving the right advice? Or is it because they actually, maybe genuinely, they didn't know or didn't see anything that you are being accused on baseless allegations, or rather the accusations are baseless? I don't know. In your way you're sitting, how could these effects escape the intellect of legal people?
I say that, okay, forget what the firm of attorneys is saying, because one would say they're defending themselves. Forget what I am saying, because you would say, because I penned down a letter in July.
Yeah.
It was a detail, it was a 9-page letter.
Yeah.
To saying and detailing over and above the irregularity in terms of them dealing with my matter, but also bringing them into picture that this is what is happening. These are the attachments. These are the letters and correspondences that are available to you. If one wanted to see fairness and finality to this matter, they would have subjected it to an objective person. Anybody on their panel, they could have used any other source. They could have used, look, the municipality can even go use Salga for legal advice. They could use the department. They could, somebody objective. Not necessarily even, they could even use, there's a provision in the regulations that when you're dealing with the senior manager, you can take outside of the actual panel. Because one would say, maybe I appointed the panel, so therefore they are not objective. But now the panel that was then appointed, it was not in my time. No, I was at home. Remember, I've been on special leave. Yes. But my only problem is the reason that I had written that letter, I actually wanted them to go through the process of investigation and clearing me. My only concern is the reputational damage. The professional damage that they're doing to my name. Because you see, unlike politicians, we are not deployed. We are not a show of hands. We are not voted for. We are not elected. The only thing that works for my name, it's not even a brand when you're in a professional space, because you need to protect it by all means necessary.
Of course.
That is my next employer goes and Googles me. That's what you find.
It appears you are.
That's what you find.
You were charged.
Yes.
Well, as far as I've searched a bit, nothing appears about the Rangwato attorneys
or the withdrawal
report clearing you, even the withdrawal. The police did issue a statement when you were arrested. It's out there, but the conclusion now that the case, has been withdrawn and now there's nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, in fact, when I was arrested, there's a mugshot that was on SABC News. 9 p.m., my parents saw that. My sister and I, mugshots. Arrested, corrupt municipal manager.
Famous.
I was.
Before then, nobody knew you.
They never knew me. There was a Twitter account. That was opened. The name was Jan van Potgieter something.
Okay.
Did that person not slander me?
I know that account. It comes every now and then with
but it's been deleted.
Allegations.
It was the at SCI something.
Okay.
Jan van Potgieter. He had pinned that story. And it went on, even when I was sitting at home. Whenever there's an activity at the municipality, they would make reference to me and the municipal manager was arrested, and they would pin it every opportunity they get. If there's an activity at the municipality, they would draw me in it. I mean, I sat at home for almost 8 months. I was at home.
A lot was happening.
No, a lot was happening. A lot happened. A lot happened. But there was never a retraction or a statement that was ever issued. I know the municipality issued a statement to saying that, they letting the law take its course where I was concerned. But nothing was ever, and I'm not going to issue my own statement on behalf of the municipality.
You can't.
And also with that, there was correspondences that would be sent to the municipality. There was one, it also was on WhatsApps.
Okay.
Wherein they made reference to the suspension of the MM and the CFO and the instability it's causing administratively. And as a result of that, there is instability. The municipality is in disarray. one of the other reasons we were on, as a municipality, on voluntary financial recovery.
Okay.
We moved from that. One of the other reasons cited is my suspension. And I was not suspended at that time.
Yeah.
To saying that the suspension of the municipal manager is causing instability and administration is collapsing.
Yeah.
The municipality now is on mandatory financial recovery.
Okay. So all these things have happened to you. Obviously, just like anybody will be concerned about your image, as a professional image, even your personal image. How are you feeling about those people who brought you into this situation? Are you taking any action? I don't know. Have you taken any action? I can understand your position where you are employed here. The people who complained about you are here. I don't know. How do you seek justice now for yourself?
Look, there are avenues, and one could actually take where I'm concerned. I still have the time. I still have the capacity as well with my legal team to can take this matter further.
Yeah.
From all angles, actually.
Okay.
And, one thing that I said to a friend of mine, that being in a situation like that, it takes away your voice. And it shrinks you as a person because you're wondering, do they actually believe it? But here, because you've given all the people necessary, all the facts, but they still ran with it. They did not care for it. So now you're asking the person outside, why would they want to believe my story? Why would they want to believe that I'm innocent? Why would they want to believe that I did not take the municipality's money? So that you come back to work, having been said you must come back to work. And this you still get dragged.
Yeah.
In a platform where somebody says, but what happened to your case? Where is the money? Why did you take the money? In my like I'm talking about a meeting of officials and oversight. I still get that.
Even now, after I've been cleared of everything.
Yes. By the same council can still question me and drag me in front of my junior staff to saying that, no, but we want to know, maybe we will go reopen this matter.
Wow.
That's bullying. That is it. It's not even bullying. I think that is just belittling one's position out of no regard.
Yeah, you're in a tough situation.
Yeah.
So now I'm not sure if it has happened, but if you happen to come across corrupt activities by your officials, how do you deal with them now? Because it may be perceived as you are being, you are retaliating if you deal with them. It may be perceived like that. It may be interpreted in that way. Are you able to do your job properly if you pick up anything wrong with any of your officials? I don't know. In this situation.
I've never been able to freely or supportedly do it, but I've done it anyway. Before.
Yeah.
And I will still do it.
Okay.
Because I've had instances where I needed to report incidents.
Yeah.
And it was made about me and my personal issues with, but I've got a responsibility in terms of the regulations, in terms of legislation, where if there's corruption, if there's suspicion of corruption, if there is something that needs to be investigated, if something is reported, I've got a responsibility to take it far, to take it to the next step, whether it is law enforcement, which I do, and I've done it before. It saw me where I am now. I've done it before, and those matters are also still, some of them are on the roll, some of them are still being investigated, some of them are new, some of them, they are there. And I think also one of the other things that was supposed to happen was to make me meek where my work is concerned. Because I don't think people thought I'll come back. I really don't think they thought I'd come back.
Mm.
Also because knowing the type of person, I mean, this thing professionally, this thing knocked me down in terms of my profession. I'm an attorney by profession. So you can imagine what this thing means for me.
I can imagine.
But I still do. I was also, was it 2 weeks ago? A matter was reported, and I think it also made its way to the newspaper.
Okay.
I know Sunday World ran with the story with regards to an ongoing matter that is currently at the municipality.
Okay.
I'm not retaliating against anyone. I can't retaliate against anyone because, unfortunately, unlike them, me and I deal with facts. And I'm not on a fishing expedition. I'm not trying to shut anybody up. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not trying to intimidate people. But I'm just exercising my fiducial duties.
And you have an advantage that you've got an eye of a lawyer. You are trained. You are able to do the right thing. I'm
trained, but I just don't rely on myself because I don't want to personalize issues.
Okay.
I also have our legal office. I make use of the internal auditor's office as well. External legal advice if I need it. Yes.
So basically, they have not succeeded to soften you to make
can't.
You docile.
They still try to scare me.
Yeah,
they still try to scare me. If you have to go to a council meeting, the mood changes. There's a person that goes on Facebook and does Facebook lives. Yes, and speaks about me. Speaks about the decisions I take. Speaks about the decisions that I'm going to take. Preempts that I'm going to do this, and they're not going to allow it. And he's got a big following.
Okay.
And the following also stems from that MM who stole 3 million. Yes. The following that has no confidence in the leadership that I am in.
No, I would imagine because since you were cleared, when you were arrested, when you were attending court, when you were suspended, it was all in the news.
Yes.
But when there's a report internally that clears you, and when the prosecutors withdraw the charges against you, it's not reported.
A person put on Facebook that the municipal manager for the City of Matlosana's case has been withdrawn and she's cleared.
Yeah.
It had 3 comments. When I was said there was one that said, where's the 3 million?
Wow.
It had more than 900 and about more than 30 or 20, 10,000 shares.
Yeah. That's really bad, eh? That's really
but they
bad.
don't get to. You don't always get the opportunity to be heard. You don't get the necessary platform as opposed to such as these. You don't get to. I don't even think City Press, if I had to write them to saying, here's the story, they would want to run with it.
Yeah.
Sensation sells, I've seen.
No, that is true. It means we are wired that way, that it's only news if it's negative. If it's positive, then it's not news.
Yeah.
But I mean, we must have a responsibility to report a case from the beginning up until the end, because we owe it to our readers as well. I'm a journalist. I have a publication. We owe it to our readers to inform them until the end, until the matter gets concluded. But if you leave them halfway, then it means you're not doing justice to yourself as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of your safety, generally, do you feel safe in the situation? Like physical harm, or don't you feel threatened?
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe, and I know that people around me as well are worried about my safety. Also, when you are going to, people tend to think that you step on their own toes. I guess sometimes you don't know that Sizwe is part of this.
Yeah.
And when you take a decision against this, now they start showing up. Okay, you're Zulu. Like you must kick a puppy, then the mom will show up.
Yeah.
That's what then happens. When you do the work that you do, the work that I do, you need to be decisive. And when you take a decision, it will not always be a decision that makes everyone happy.
Exactly.
And especially a decision that was an outcome that they had preconceived it to be this way, comes that way.
Yeah.
And in this business, we also deal with a lot of thugs. We deal with dangerous people.
No, I was going to say, because the municipal environment, but even provincial, national government, you have your construction mafias, you have your business forums. Yes. Whenever there's a tender, there's a business forum that springs up to question, wow, why was it awarded to this one? We want a piece of it, and all those kinds of things.
Yes. And also in instances with awardings, even Nabil, I've never really had that confrontation with regards to that. But you also get instances where now there's been, I have terminated a contract, but appointed in terms of a proper process. Yeah. Which is a Regulation 36 done correctly. Now, there is a rider on it that says that they will be authorized from the office of the municipal manager. That is not palatable to a lot of people. Because also from the same contract, there are discrepancies that you can see this could not have been right. So we are currently on the investigation. The preliminary investigation has been done. And that's what led to me then terminating and trying to put internal controls in it. People who are used to doing things a certain way don't like change. Don't like type of thing. Because now not only are they in control, but then they are demigods to service providers, to saying, if I don't do it, it won't be done. Now, when it gets done from the other side, it's not palatable to that grouping. So in terms of safety, what's up, Mudim? Because I've been attacked before in the municipality.
In the municipal premises?
Yes. I've been attacked not once, not twice.
Oh.
Yes. I was attacked even when I was a director acting as a municipal manager. Pregnant with my daughter. I was held hostage.
You've seen a lot.
Yes. And I was attacked 2023 inside the municipal premises. And these people, I opened a case against them. These people are part of gangs inside the municipal premises. They threw me with chairs and...
What was the issue? What?
We had advertised work. General workers. But then there's also an issue of, SMMEs, people are not working. And so they wanted, and I went and they had complaints. I sat with them and I listened. So one morning I come to work, they are in the committee room, like in a committee room, like conference room, meeting room. So we are going to a meeting. I get in, one of the junior officials are there, but he's a deputy director. And then they are fighting. So I'm like, but guys, what's going on? But I was with you the other day. You didn't raise, okay, how many of you applied? About 2 of them only applied. No, they didn't apply, but they want to be hired. They want to be hired. So we tried to, but they were not fighting. And out of nowhere, one jumps up and throws chairs and they hurling insults, they fighting, people are trying to come. in between them, and they throwing chairs at me. So.
Yeah, you've been through a lot.
No. We see things where we come from. I mean, sometimes you get taxis that are not happy. But the nice thing about taxi people take, contrary to popular belief, they're not violent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that maybe their presence is the one that scares you. But they're not violent. When they come there and they want to talk, they just have their way of getting your attention.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now, do you understand the language that people are talking? Is there nothing lost in the translation that you find yourself in this situation? There's a language that you don't understand. To put it simply, to be direct, are you a political activist, for instance? Because what I've heard is that decisions do get taken at branches, and then people then they want to influence the municipality to implement them.
I'm an administrator, and I happen to lead in an administration where I've got a political head.
Yeah.
And political, councillors. But the executive mayor, to me, that is supposed to be the one that delivers. Whether it is how the flow of work, what do they call it, Ghana? It's not mandate. It is, January 8, Ghana deliverables. What do you call it? Like a strategy.
Okay, yeah.
A political strategy, whether of the ruling party, the political strategy where we are going as a municipality, as a country. A manifesto.
Oh, the manifesto.
Yes.
Smart.
Yeah. Keda. So reliance will be there. I'm an administrator. Yeah. I don't want to blur the lines and be an activist because it's going to confuse me as a person.
Yeah.
I want to be as objective as possible.
Yeah.
But also with an understanding that, look, local government, this is where we want to go.
Yeah.
As the country, this is where we want to go. Because where we are, it's not what we should be, where we should be. Not just Matlosana, but as local government.
Yeah.
But also as Matlosana.
True.
Where we are currently, service delivery has seen a knock. There's been a lot of rain that we experienced.
Yeah.
It messed us up. And this came just after I came in. So can you imagine, I came back to work in 20th of January.
Yeah.
And this came in just at that time where now the roads are getting bad. Roads are washed away, sewer lines, water, leakages, burst pipes. And so we are trying to be on recovery. And it may look like we are trying to recover because of elections. But the recovery is what we owe to the community. It is our mandate.
For sure.
That is it.
You should be doing it every day.
Yes. It's not a matter of going to elections, but this is what we owe the community. So where we are, I don't want to confuse myself. Kabodi branch and going to meetings or political meetings. I don't belong to a political, I can remember a branch AP. I've got my own political cap or membership, but I'm not a branch member of any sort.
Because I was asking that because I can sense that there's language that you do not understand.
No, I hear it.
Why municipalities
I hear it.
Over the country are in the state they are in. Because of that, you as an administrator are expected to understand that language. You hear it, you've got to understand it, you've got to show that you really do understand it and deliver, so, yeah.
Yeah, I want to deliver to the people.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But your term, when does it, you're on a fixed term of contract, when does it expire?
I'm on a fixed 5-year term, started in 2023.
Oh, okay.
So 2027.
So 2027, you still have a long time.
2028, actually. 2028, but it's a year, it can't be a year exceeding local government elections.
Okay.
So effectively it's supposed to be 2028.
Okay. You still have a long time. I think you probably haven't done much. You still new, and then you still have a few years.
My term got interrupted.
It got interrupted.
It got really interrupted.
But if one were to ask you, where do you want to take this municipality?
I did mention that it's home, eh?
Yeah.
And I've got 7 directors.
Yeah.
I got in without directors. We were acting directors.
Okay.
So last year we appointed 6 directors. It was just myself and the CFO were there.
Okay.
So I appointed 6 directors, council. And I always say to them that where I want to see this municipality, I want to see this municipality where our roads are in a better condition.
Yeah.
You know, the water leakages in that municipality. We have gotten into collaboration with Municipal. It's a water company in Klerksdorp there, to assist us with water leakages. And the rapid response, our infrastructure is quite old. So, the Matlosana has grown.
Yeah.
So in terms of also the capacity thereof. Yeah. But in terms of our MIGs and stuff, we are going there and trying to restore it. But I want to get to a point that there's no complaints of refuse not collected. It's a cleaner Matlosana. Yeah. It's how it used to be when I was growing up. You know, it was so clean. Even the town was so clean. That building itself, you know, you would look at it with so much pride. But the state that it is at now, not just the building, but the infrastructure, the water leakages, the turnaround time that we have. And unfortunately, we also have an issue and an overburden of non-collection. And the culture of non-collection is also disadvantaging us in getting the infrastructure correct. True. But we must also we must do something that is encouraging the community. Clean. Unblock the sewers. Encourage them, motivate them to want to actually be part of the system and to continue paying. Respond to complaints and quicker. And be diligent. That's all. I want to see a better Matlosana, a Matlosana that I know.
It's all good because you grew up
but
here.
But it's also appetite, you know. We need to, it's a concerted effort. Yeah. I was saying to the councillors in one of our portfolio meetings that we also need them to assist us. It's a concerted effort because when you enter a certain ward, the councillor would say, these are my people. Yeah. So we need to join hands in working together with the people for the people. So that is the only way that we're also going to be able. Look, we're seeing a lot now in the past few months. Yeah. Cable theft. Wow. Yeah. You know, there was a time that it was it had gone down. Okay. So ever since that Valum Goti, I think they are now out and they're looking for something. We are seeing we've been hit very hard with cable theft. The past couple of weeks, it's been bad. And that would mean that reinforcing security at a cost. Yeah. You know, if we can just join in it, because we know the people who take cable, man. Yeah,
cable theft is a big thing in the country, big crime in the country, and it's affecting the economy very badly. But I wonder if there's no technology to avoid these new technologies to avoid the theft. And
they have been presentations on that, like your early detection. If they had to be pulling it from one end, it would detect before they even get to it. But that is also at a cost.
At a cost. You've got to find the money somewhere.
We have to find the money somewhere.
Yeah. But going back to because the money is with the people. Yeah. It's a problem everywhere in the country, collection. Why is it a problem? Is it an issue that most people are really unemployed? Families are struggling? Yes. Or it's just there are those people who just don't want to pay. They can afford to pay, but they don't want to pay.
Look, the economy is down.
Yeah, it is.
There are honestly instances where there is no money to pay. And electricity is expensive.
Yeah.
It is expensive.
Prices are growing up every day.
Electricity is expensive then and now. And we would always say after COVID, things went down. But there's also developed a culture of non-payment. Because we would always say that if you're unemployed, come and register on the indigent of the municipality so that we can be able to assist and also, have you, because some debt you cannot recover.
Of course.
You can't recover, but you need to actually go out there and actually do that assessment.
But for sure, you've got a database. You know who cannot afford. You know who can afford.
Yes.
But those you have identified as being able to afford, are they all paying?
No. And what we do is that we switch them off.
Yeah. But then that becomes a problem as well.
But then you get the clever ones that you come back again and they've switched themselves off. Now we take the infrastructure.
Yeah. Okay. It's a tough one.
In some areas, you can't get into it for credit control. They are gang infested. You can't get in.
If they say municipal branded car, you're in danger.
Some of them you can't even get in to come and do improvements.
Wow.
30%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you get a local person to come and do a road in the area, and then they want 30%.
Yeah, it's a lot of challenges.
Yeah, but they're not impossible to overcome. They are really not impossible. And I don't think that the state that we are in, it cannot at least find itself back to being a dignified government. No. It's willingness. It's also political appetite.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope things are gonna get.
You asked me how I felt.
Yeah.
Ne? You asked me how I felt about what happened.
Yeah.
Look, more than anything, my family.
Oh yeah.
You know, my family. Like this thing, it messed my family up because my parents are old. They see us on TV. My children are young. At that time, my son was writing exams.
Imagine.
Gets into the garage to buy bread and sees my face on the newspaper.
At school?
At school, my husband's work and, social circles. But I think it was a less harder with the support. Yeah. When your people know your story, they support you without fear. Yeah.
But yeah, I can imagine.
Professionally, I think it's going to take some time, but it will. I'll find my way.
You've got to explain yourself all over.
Yes.
No, I'm not this kind of a person.
And not everybody will want to listen to your story.
Yeah.
You will never get an opportunity. If I had to apply for work and I just indicate, or they Google me, and they're like, why would they want to call me for an interview? For me to be able to say, no, in fact, I was cleared.
Yeah.
I'll never get the opportunity.
Yeah, and the onus is on you to always clear yourself all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really bad because, once you get accused of crime, then it sticks.
And people don't forget.
Yeah, it sticks.
And the internet doesn't forget.
It's there for generations. Your great grandchildren will still read about this ancestor of ours. But in any case, in conclusion, unless there's anything else you want to add, I appreciate your time, rather honoring our invite to come and explain yourself. We hardly get these interviews from civil servants trying to set their records straight or to clarify themselves or just to answer to allegations they are facing from time to time. But thanks a lot. Unless there's something you want to say, this is your platform. If ever you feel you have not got everything out of your chest, then this is your platform.
No. I'm grateful for the invite and the opportunity to be able to speak. I've never had to actually sit down and speak about it, because it's either we are doing it at home and we are talking about it, but nobody else would take the time to want to listen to your story. The stigma that comes with it, the stigma that also comes with government officials being corrupt.
Yeah.
That thing is a stigma that you don't want to find yourself on the other side, even if you're not doing anything. The fact that you work for a municipality.
Yeah.
I look at our Facebook page as a municipality. You would do something that is good, and the comments that come with it. The comments that come with it also indicates that people have lost hope in our government and in us, because we are government. We are actually driving this ship.
Yeah.
So in order for us to restore it, it's just by doing what we are expected to do.
Yeah, just deliver.
Just deliver. Just deliver, just do our work. But in the midst of it all, there is something that people also forget, that you're human. You are human. 2 weeks ago, there was a statement that was issued by Sanko Northwest, and saying that the municipal manager does not want to deal with the CFO because she also has skeletons in her own closet. That's why. And you now a person is reading this. It's what's this? So people tend to forget that you may be an official, comes with the package, the scrutiny, the criticism comes with the package. But at the end of the day, I'm a mother. I'm somebody's wife. You don't want, it's not nice for your family to read, especially where facts are distorted deliberately.
Yeah.
That is the only concern that I have.
Yeah, but people get to distort facts. But is because all civil servants are facing this problem, talking about people distorting facts and everything. Is government transparent enough to ensure that people do not just take any information that they hear or they come across on social media? I'm not sure. Is government transparent enough to say, look, we've got this person, we've charged, we're taking the initiative, we are investigating. The investigation is at this stage now, that kind of transparency.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
No, we're not. I get where you are. We are not. Like, take for example, in our municipality, there is items where they deal with officials. Yeah. They are in a closed council meeting.
Exactly.
So that on its own, it excludes public from actually getting the true facts.
Yeah.
So whatever can be coming out of it, it might not be actually what had happened. We are not transparent enough. Also, we could do better. And also communicating things. Communicating things that are happening internally. Whether it is a failure or a success.
Yes.
If we could be able to just improve on that as government. And certain things, there's also, processes of how to do certain things and steps to follow. And maybe there's just we must get to a point where we just get there to do exactly what we are sent to do. What we are mandated to do. And if there's anything untoward, like for example, with my matter, the municipality could have issued a statement to saying this is what happened. Yes, I came back. There was a statement that was issued, but it was another publication. But as a municipality, there are certain limitations, I guess, when you're dealing with sensitive issues that are still at council level. That cannot at that point be divulged. But as the time it gets concluded, we must be in a position to can say this is what happened, or this is a council meeting and this is the resolution of council.
Yeah, maybe that transparency can help, because without people preempting what you're going to do with the tender, if the whole process is open, from evaluation, adjudication, if it's, I don't know how then. Whether it did succeed, it did continue.
We've once tried to do that.
Yeah.
We've once tried to open tenders and tried to evaluate them in front of people, and they destroyed those things.
At the same time, you may find
and tore the tender box.
You inviting too much noise again. It's that situation, People come to disrupt because decisions are not going their way. Yeah, I don't know, man. But there will be a solution.
There will be a solution. We could be thinking along those lines.
Yeah. Okay.
But thank you so much for this sit-in. It was quite refreshing to be able to speak, and
you feel lighter.
Yes, I do. I do. And I guess I'll see you from here on.
Yeah, no, that's what we are here for. We're inviting everybody to come and talk to us about burning issues anywhere in the country. This is the platform for people. Yeah.
Thank you.
From us, thanks very much. Remember, businesses, the details are showing on the screen. If you want to promote your products, your services, do contact us. We've got something special for you. Until next time, thanks a lot.